Today, we're going to talk about 10 essential items of what is really important to have on hand when bringing your baby home, and a few other bonus items that would be nice to have. Item 1, diapers and wipes. There really isn't another alternative for this. You need diapers and you need wipes, although paper towels will work in an absolute bind. But the first question you have to think about is, are you going to choose disposable or cloth? You'll also want to think about if eco-friendly diapers matter to you. Those are really important things to think about when you're making your selection, but they can always change. There's a whole range of diapers from budget-friendly like Kirkland to Pampers with the yellow line. And then there are things like sensitive diapers like Pampers Pure, one of my personal favorites. And then there's also luxury diapers like Coterie. Oftentimes, hospitals will send you home with a few starter diapers. And by the way, this is a hidden secret for new parents. Take everything the hospital will give you. You also won't know the exact size of your baby until he or she arrives. It might be newborn, which will show with an N on the diaper, or you could be starting out with a size 1. It really just will depend on the size of your baby when they're born. Let's talk about wipes. There are lots of different kinds of wipes. My personal favorite is water wipes because they're a 99.9% water. If you have a sensitive baby at all, water wipes tend to be your go-to wipe. Essential 2, diaper cream. Because of the moisture that's happening, you're often going to want to use diaper cream, but that's something you'll want to also discuss with your doctor. A lot of times they recommend the application of diaper cream just to keep your baby's skin smooth and unirritated. Zinc oxide is a very important ingredient in the diaper cream. There are lots of different kinds. My son once had a bad diaper rash after a sickness, and when nothing else worked, we went to the emergency room, and the doctor told us to just always stick with Desitin, and that's something that we've done. We use Desitin always on our second daughter. We never really had a diaper rash problem. Something else that a lot of people like to use is called A&D ointment. It's another diaper cream. There are lots of other diaper creams out there, and you can do your research on those. A&D and Desitin are two great basics to have on hand. Essential 3. Let's talk about where you're going to change your baby. That's another really essential thing. It's all the fad right now to have a wipeable changing pads. Kikaru has one, so does Skip Hop. The idea behind them is that nothing gets absorbed or has to be laundered, or if they become wet or soiled, you can just wipe them off. Standard changing mats usually come with cloth covers that can be purchased as an accessory. The downside to those is that they get wet or soiled and laundry has to happen. There's also foldable changing mats. I have one here. This is made by Ubbi, U-B-B-I. I use this for on-the-go diaper changes, also for traveling. Now, a quick mention, all of the products mentioned today, I'll link below in this listing, so you'll have easy access to that too. Our next essential, a seat for your baby. You're going to want a safe place for your baby to be that isn't on you, so you can be hands-free on various occasions throughout the day. You might want to be cooking or unloading the dishwasher, or just have a minute to yourself where your baby you aren't holding it or they're not sleeping on you. I actually used our baby seat a lot when our babies were active and awake, just so that my babies didn't rely so much on needing me for comfort. There are lots of options for seats. Some are swings, some are bounce seats. They range from minimalist to very high tech. Really minimalist one is the Baby Bjorn. It's also foldable and works really well in small pace, or if you're thinking about traveling with a seat. Other swings and seats have a lot more bells and whistles on them and sounds, or rocking. The Mamaroo is a favorite swing that has a lot of technology with it. Grackle also makes very popular swings, although they often take up a lot of space. The 5th essential, a place for your baby to sleep. Whether it's a bassinet or a crib, your child is going to need a safe place to sleep. For newborns, a lot of parents like bassinets. They come in all kinds. Wooden bassinets, foldable bassinets, travel bassinets. Since you'll only use a bassinet for a short period of time in your child's life, I like bassinets that are multifunctional. What we used in our home was made by a Guava travel crib. It's a travel and crib and bassinet combo. The travel crib converted to a bassinet when our children were young, and then we were able to easily convert it from the bassinet into a crib as they got older. I also found that if For houses with multiple levels, we moved out of the city into a multi-story home a couple years after my son was born, and I found that I liked bassinets on both my main floor and also on the sleeping floor. It's just a pain to have to be carrying your bassinet up and down the floors. If you have a travel bassinet, you could keep that on one floor, and then if you liked it, a more permanent bassinet, or also another flexible bassinet on the other floor. Essential 6, a car seat. You have to have a car seat to leave the hospital if you're taking your child home in the car. So this is a law and also a very important safety point. If you live in an urban area and you're just planning to walk home with your baby from the hospital, then a stroller is fine. There are lots of different kinds of car seats. There are bucket seats that you can carry and then often snap right onto a stroller. There are harness seats that stay in the car but can transition from infant to the toddler stage without needing a separate car seat. There are car seats that have stroller attachments. You'll have to decide what really your life situation directs. I generally liked the bucket car seats because you can transport your children easily if they're sleeping right from the car to the stroller, and there's just generally more infant friendly. Car seats with stroller attachments like the Doona or the Ebb and Flow Shift DualRide have become very popular, and it's surprising the way that those are being used today. They really originally came out as solely travel car seats, but I've seen a lot of both urban and suburban parents decide to use those as their solo car seats because they find them they're just so much more user-friendly for getting your child in and out of the car and sort of on the go. The next essential, baby sleepers. You can choose many kinds of baby sleepers. They could be gowns, magnetic knee, magnetic closure, sleepers, or just plain zippers. But really the key for baby sleeper clothes is no buttons and no snaps. This is really the basic clothing for your child that you'll need. Babies sleep a lot, so having something that they can easily get into and be changed out of is really important. I really liked sleep gowns for the night for all babies, whether they were boys or girls, because you could just pull them up to change and you didn't have to deal with zippers or snaps or magnets. Because the thing is, let's be honest, all any parent wants to do in the middle of the night is go back to sleep. And sleep gowns make that changing piece a lot simpler. Burp cloths are next essential. You use them for burping. You use them to place, for some people, under the baby's head in the stroller for outings. Frankly, you're going to be surprised by the amount of liquids that come out of your baby. And that's where birth cloths are the trick. Between wiping up milk that has to be trickled out, to burps, to spit ups, to full-blown projectile episodes, birth cloths will become your best friend. You always want to feed your baby with a birth cloth, and many people use them also under the baby's head in the stroller or bassinet when they're sleeping. This isn't something that I did often, and you'll just have to decide really what's right for you. As to the quantity, you'll frankly want to buy a lot of birth cloths, and you'll probably go through at least 3 or 4. I really liked these standard white ones. They were simple. They lasted several years for us, and amusingly, we've used these to transition into loveys for my children. And frankly, having a multiple of the same lovey is key because we never have to worry about what if we lose that favorite stuffy when we're out and about, or what if we leave it at grandma's house? We're okay. We have backups. Baby swaddles. They're very important because most babies like to sleep swaddled, which is really cocooned together in a cloth wrap. Most baby sleep experts say that babies sleep better swaddled, and even if your baby originally complains about it, to stick it out and that your baby will adjust and that they will sleep much better if they're in a swaddle. I really like baby swaddles with Velcro. This one here is the Swaddle Me, and it Velcros here at the bottom. It goes across, your baby's chest goes across, and then it Velcros here, and it Velcros at the top and then the bottom again. Another brand that makes Velcro swaddles is Aiden and Ani. They also make the traditional just cloth swaddles, but as I said, I found the Velcro swaddles to be really, really helpful. just way more easier than trying to use one piece of cloth folded just so, and then to tighten it around your baby so they didn't come out of the swaddle. And frankly, most of the time they did. Here's another just regular cloth swaddle that you frankly have to be very good and what I would call like a swaddle ninja in order to figure out exactly how to wrap the baby. My husband, this is amusingly one of his very ninja skills, I'll like to say. He became very good at swaddling just in a regular cloth swaddle. I frankly found it way easier to use Velcro swaddles, and even pack them in my hospital bag for our second child. Our final essential: bottles. Even if you plan to fully breastfeed, you're going to want to have bottles on hand in case your needs change. If you're a new-time mom, you don't know what your breast milk supply will be, and sometimes it's really slow to develop. Also, having bottles allows other people to feed the baby if you decide to pump milk, which is a lot of moms do in addition to breastfeeding. There are many different kinds of bottles. Some bottles are made for the nipple to try to mirror the actual breastfeeding of a nipple. One of those brands is Tomo. Other bottles recommended are Dr. Brown's. They're especially for babies that have reflux or other digestive issues, or if you're really just worried about air that's going to enter. I have a Dr. Brown's bottle here. Thing to remember with bottles is that there are different nipple sizes. This isn't something that I knew when I was a first-time mom, and when our baby got older, I was wondering why it was taking so long for them to drink out of the bottle, and I realized that I needed to get the next nipple size up. So you look at the nipples. A 1 is for newborns, and then it goes 2, and then it goes 3. It's all supposed to mirror sort of how much it would normally take for a baby to drink when they're breastfeeding, and so the supply will increase as they get older and are able to drink more, and also their ability to suck gets stronger. Another popular one is the Philips Advent, and that's just a simpler bottle. It doesn't have as many compartments on the inside. In addition to those top 10 essentials, let's talk about a few additional items that aren't necessarily essential, but will be really nice to have as a newborn parent. Diaper changing pad liners. I think diaper changing pad liners are frankly a silent MVP. There's a lot of things that happen when changing a diaper, and especially as your baby gets older and can move, things can get out of hand really quickly when you're changing them. This little orange and white device is called the Baby Shusher, and some parents refuse to go anywhere with their babies without one. It makes a hushing noise that helps baby fall to sleep. That's a fan favorite, the Baby Shusher. Another item I think is really helpful is a nightlight. For late night feeding and diaper changes, in the middle of the night, you're going to want to be able to see how to feed your baby and for diaper changes, and you don't want to put on the full bright lights. A feeding pillow is another very popular item for both breastfeeding and bottle feeding babies. It can be really helpful to have your baby properly situated and supported when feeding. Your newborn might be small, but you'll be surprised how often their nails can grow. There are several nail files out there on the market that can help nail filing be more safe than just regular nail clippers. I really like a motorized nail file because as your baby grows, they become more impatient with having their nails trimmed, so it's easier and quicker just to have a motorized version. Here, I'll show you with this motorized version. You just put the top on there and then you turn it on and it motors up against the nail. Two other very popular kinds of nail files are the Frida Baby nail file and an Angel Love nail file. A breast pump. Even if you're planning to breastfeed, a breast pump can assist you in increasing milk production and also be an alternative occasionally or frankly always to feeding from the breast depending on what your situation is. Pacifiers. Pacifiers can be controversial. There are some people in the no pacifier camp. There are others who are in the all day, every day pacifier camp. And then there are parents that are worried that the children will be going to school with a pacifier in their mouth. That won't happen, I promise. However, having a few different pacifiers on hand really gives you the option to soothe your baby with a pacifier. If you're planning to use one for your newborn, remember that you have to check the size. There are different sizes of pacifiers depending on the age of your baby. There are also different options. Some pacifiers try to be dental friendly, like the MAM. This is a MAM. pacifier. A lot of the MAMs come with a clip on them here that's removable with a Velcro. These are supposed to be more dental friendly. Dr. Brown's makes pacifiers in the same shape as a bottle nipple for easy introduction to a pacifier. And then this green pacifier made by Philips Advent is a pacifier that many hospitals recommend and give out for newborns. If you found top infant essentials to be helpful to you, watch our next video on stocking your diaper cavity. And remember, you've got this.